All right, in this video, we want to create an abstract class name element that holds properties of elements, including their symbol, atomic number, and atomic weight. Include a constructor that requires values for all three properties and a get method for each value. Also include an abstract method named describe element. Okay. All right, so public abstracts class elements. Okay, it says that holds properties of elements, including symbol, atomic number, and atomic weight. Okay, so 3 fields. So this symbol is a string. Weight, or actually that's number, is an int. And weight would be the double, right? Then, and that is because just chemistry, right? Let's see. Right, so the symbol is this. This is the number. Why don't they have the weights in here? Anyway, that comes from the chemistry part of it. So I guess this is mass. Probably should be mass. Does the problem say weight? Yeah, probably should be mass, I guess. All right. So then include a constructor that requires values for all three properties. Okay. So public element string symbol int number double mass. And then this dot symbol equals symbol, this dot number equals number, this dot mass equals mass. Okay, there's our constructor. And a get method for each value. All right, so get methods, public string get symbol, return symbol, public int get number, return number, and public double get mass return mass. Okay. Let's compile that, see how it looks. Okay. All right, and then finally, for this one, also include an abstract method named describe elements. All right, so I'm going to add an abstract method here, public abstract, let's see, describe elements. And we have a choice in the return type, so I guess maybe it's going to return maybe a string. or we can make it void, one of the others. It doesn't really matter. Okay, so there's our abstract method. Okay, so now again, by putting that in there, we are going to require all child classes, right, to have an implementation of this describe element method. Okay, so I think that's it on elements. It says now create 2 extended classes, so they mean child classes, right, named metal element and non-metal element. Each contains a describe element method that displays the details of the element and a brief description of the properties of the element type. All right, so by displays, I think they want us to print some stuff out. So let's change this to void, the void type, if we're just printing things out. All right. So next up, they want a class, public class, and then metal element. And right away, when you try to compile this one, right, then it's not going to compile correctly, right? Oops, it will, because I forgot extends element, right? As soon as you add that extends element on there, which is what they said, right? 2 extended classes, so 2 child classes of element, right? As soon as you add on that on there, it's going to complain because this class is a child class of element, right? And element has an abstract method, and so therefore, you know, you're not going to be able to. You have to either supply an implementation, right, for this, have a describe element with the method body, or declare this as abstract, and we don't want to do that, the latter thing. So what we need is a method in here, right, public string describe elements, and it's void, public void. All right, so you can see we're not getting this error anymore because we added this in here to satisfy that requirement that we had to have it, right? But we are getting a second error, right? And that second error says constructor element in class element cannot be applied to the given types. Okay, so the situation here is that the parent class element, right, only has constructors with parameters, right? And so therefore what we have to do is supply those parameters. All right, so we have to have a constructor in here. And we have to supply values to the parent, right, in the first line of the constructor. So there we go. And now it should go. All right, everything looks good. All right, at least it compiles, right? So, all right, so now let's make sure that we have done everything we were supposed to. It says each contains a describe element method. We've done that, but that displays the details of the element and a brief description of the properties of the element types. Okay, so we have some work to do here. All right, so system.out.println. Here I'm going to put just symbol number mass All right, so that lists the fields, which I believe is what they wanted. Details of the element. So that's what I take that to mean. And a brief description. All right. So I'm just going to put it's a metal. So that's not really great, but whatever. All metal elements are metal. All right, so there we go. Let's see, where did I mess up here? Oh, it's printf. And if I'm using printf, then I'm going to just make this, put a %n on there so it will go to the next line and not run it all together. And I forgot a comma right here. All right, looks okay. All right, we're going to do the same thing for non-metal elements. And so it's going to be virtually identical. So I'm just going to take the easy way out and modify it. So non-metal. The only thing that's going to be different here is it should have a different describe element, right? It's not a metal, so that's my cheesy description. It's not metal, all right? So again, right, these abstract methods allow you to, they basically, again, force the child classes to have this method, right? But they don't force the child to do them in any certain way. The child can do them however they like. They just have to have it in there. Okay, so everything looks good on this one. So there are my two child classes. I guess we could have put metals are good conductors and non-metals are poor conductors, but whatever. All right, next up it says write an application name element array. When they say application, they're talking about with the main method here, or something similar that we'll talk about later. So public class, do they have a name? Element array. With the main method, public static void main string args. Okay, and it's that creates and displays an array that holds at least 2 elements of each type. All right, so I need to declare that array. Right, metal and non-metal are 2 different types, so I'm going to have to make the type of the array element, right, since that's the parent type, and the brackets for the array. So I'm just going to call this elements equals. I'm just going to use the curly brace notation to declare these. So, and then I'm going to go ahead and just create these. All right, so metal element. So I need a symbol U for uranium. Atomic number is what, 238, and whatever the mass is. I don't know. It's pretty heavy. Close the curly brace to close this off, and we'll just test that out. All right, so far so good. I need 2 more. Or 3 more, right? Need a metal element. Tungsten. Can't remember the number, so I'm just making stuff up. Hydrogen. Is that 1 or is it 2? Can't remember. Doesn't matter. since this is not a chemistry class. All right, and then xenon. I can't remember this either. 34. All right, so I'm just making an array, right, with the curly brace notation, and then inside I'm just creating these objects as we go. So 4 objects, just like they wanted. All right. Next up is, what do they want? All right, it says displays an array, so I take that to mean that they want me to print that stuff out. So, so let's use a loop for element. In elements, I'm using the extended or enhanced for loop rather, right? So remember how that goes, right? This would be the type of thing that's in the array. This is a name that you make up, and that is the variable, and this would be the name of the array or array list. And then what it will do is every time you go through the loop, it will put a new element of the array in this variable element. All right, and then what we want to print here is we want to call the describe element method in each of these. All right, so each time we call the describe element method, how you do that, right, is with the dot notation. So this says, hey, go look at this object, which is going to be one of these 4 objects. Look inside there, and you will see a method named describe element. I want you to call that method. All right, so that should get us all of the information. All right, so you can see it there. All right, that is it for this example.